How much does it cost to visit London? London is among the world's largest and most diverse metropolises. London is a popular destination because of her status as a global transportation and commercial centre, from museums and monuments to flea shops filled with antiques. London offers a wide variety of dining options, from fine dining establishments to traditional pubs. Nevertheless, how much does a trip to London really cost? Find out by reading on. Costs of London lodging. Budgeting for lodging should come first when planning a trip to London, since this expense accounts for a disproportionate share of most visitors' total expenditures. Let's be honest, the cost of staying in a conventional London hotel room may be through the roof. Even backpacker hostels, which are known for being cheap, are not exempt from this rule. In addition, you should expect to pay at least £30 a night to stay in a hostel dorm in or near central London. You don't really want to be far from the centre, since you will surely wind up spending quite a bit of time on public transport if you are. It's possible that you'll believe you can save money by booking a private room at a hostel if you're travelling with another person. However, central London hostels may cost as much as £130 for a night, making them more costly than even the cheapest hotels. Despite the fact that wanting to rent a complete residential flat through Airbnb in London can be extremely costly due to the fact that they are increasing rents and affecting to a housing shortage for individuals who basically reside in London, trying to rent a separate room via Airbnb is a very famous and inexpensive way to decrease the total cost of your visit to London. Costs of London's public transportation. Surprisingly, many tourists visiting London are unable to grasp the enormity of the city. However, as when you depart the airport, you will realise that it takes at minimum an hour to reach central London. Unless you're eager to stroll around 20 miles every day, you're going to have to spend some bucks on mobility. How much, therefore, can you expect your time in London to set you back? In all candour, we'll leave that decision up to you. Transport from Heathrow to the heart of London. The first consideration for transportation expenditures is how to travel from the airport to the heart of London. Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted, Luton, London City, as well as London Southend are the 6 airports that service Greater London. However, only 2 of them, Heathrow and London City, are actually located inside the City of London itself. Trains run to and from several main London airports, and early purchase of these tickets is nearly always the most cost-effective option. Before your trip, plan ahead to ensure that you are staying in the most convenient location possible. If you want to save money on your train ticket, you should attempt to reserve it at least a week in advance. The one-way fare is likely to cost you roughly £15 to £20. Purchasing a round-trip ticket is more expensive than buying a single ticket. Thankfully, London's public transportation system is among the best in the world. However, it is also the most costly. A good way to save money on transportation is to purchase an Oyster card, which can be done at any tube station and then loaded with as much money as is necessary. Use of an Oyster card provides advantages over buying single-trip tickets or travel cards due to daily travel limits. To cut down on transportation costs, using the bus is another option. The flat rate of £1.65 applies to all destinations inside London when using one of the city's famous red double-decker buses. The £1.65 transfer fee is waived if you change buses within an hour of your first transfer. When visiting London, visitors shouldn't spend more than £8 a day on public transportation. London's food costs. Due to its status as one of the world's most multicultural metropolises, London has a diverse and exciting restaurant scene where visitors may sample dishes from almost every region of the globe. London's restaurant and street food culture is so great that you may forget everything you ever thought you knew about British cuisine. However, it may have a significant effect on how much your vacation to London costs. In spite of being home to some of the world's finest dining establishments, a trip to London's restaurants may set you back quite a bit of cash. However, it is completely feasible to eat some of London's finest food while sticking to a strict budget. In conclusion, you may enjoy London's diverse culinary scene without spending a fortune. If you do most of your own cooking, you may expect to spend around £10 to £15 per day, whereas spending closer to £20 to £25 per day for a single mid-range restaurant dinner is more realistic. London costs for common events. After we've taken care of the fundamentals like where to live and how to get about, we can move on to the more fun stuff like what it costs to do in London. There's a lot to see and do in this fantastic city, and visitors won't break the bank doing it. While popular attractions like the London Eye, Tower of London and Madame Tussauds wax museums all demand steep admission fees, many of the world's greatest and most renowned museums are free to the public. Museums. There are a wide variety of museums in London, such as the British Museum, the Natural History Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and the Science Museum. The London Explorer Pass is an excellent deal if you intend on seeing many of the city's ticketed attractions. Travelling from one museum to another in London is a cheap way to spend a day or more. Walking tours. Taking advantage of a free walking tour is a fantastic and cheap way to visit the highlights in London. Numerous tour companies spread out over the city provide a wide variety of free walking tours of the major boroughs and neighbourhoods. Despite the fact that tours themselves are free, it is customary to leave a gratuity for your guide of anywhere from £5 to £10, depending on the tour's depth and duration. In addition to free walking tours, you may also take a paid tour for a reasonable price. Tours of the East End, for example, cost between £8 and £12 per person, though this can vary widely depending on the tour company. Booking the trip in advance online may often save you money, so it's worth your time to look into the options. Theatres. West End theatre tickets may be rather pricey, so keep that in mind if seeing a show is high on your London itinerary. There are, however, methods to avoid paying such a high rate. The cheapest tickets typically cost approximately £30, which is not too bad if you don't mind sitting in the nosebleed area. Lottery. Buying tickets in a lottery is another great method to save money on shows in London's West End. For roughly £20, you can enter to win some of the finest tickets in the house at many of the major performances. Different shows have different lotteries, so it's a good idea to look out the specifics for the show you're interested in seeing by Googling West End show plus lottery. Live shows. Getting out of the West End is a terrific way to save money on theatre. Fabulous shows can be seen all throughout London for far less than you would pay on the West End. When you're under 30, you can get a ticket to see a show at the Hampstead Theatre in North London for only £10. This theatre is known for its high production values and famous performers. It's not necessary to spend more than £10 to £15 a day on activities if you're trying to keep your average London trip cost modest. Visits to several museums, including the Natural History Museum, are entirely free. Costs of London's entertainment. Next up on the list of London expenditures to calculate is the cost of fun things to do while you're there. No trip to the Big Smoke is complete without experiencing the city's legendary nightlife and bar culture. Unfortunately for those on a tighter budget, drinks in London may be rather pricey. However, you should be aware that in central London, a pint of beer can cost you back roughly £5, and often more, depending on the kind of beer you choose. To enjoy a fun night out drinking in London without breaking the budget, stock up on alcohol at a grocery shop or liquor store. Generally speaking, you should expect to pay £1.50 to £2 for a bottle of beer and £10 to £15 for a nice bottle of wine. If the weather is nice, grab a drink and take it to a park seat or a spot along Regent's Canal or the Thames. You'll be in good company with the natives and your wallet will thank you too. Cutting down on alcohol consumption and drinking at pricey establishments may significantly reduce the expense of a trip to London. You should set aside between £10 and £15 per person every day to cover the cost of alcohol in London. Taking everything into account, the following is a rough estimate of how much money you may anticipate to spend every day in London. It is assumed that you are a couple and will be sharing the costs of your vacation, and it does not account for any outlays made in preparation for your trip, such as purchasing a warm coat for London. It is common for single travellers to pay a premium for some services, especially lodging. Rates for rooms range from $25 to $70. Rates for travel are £8 per day. Cost of a day's worth of food, £10 to £25. Price range per day for activities, £5 to £10. Cost of daily entertainment, £10 to £15. In summary, the average daily cost of a trip to London is between £60 and £120. You may save money if you stay in a cheap hotel outside of the city and prepare most of your own meals. while those on a more luxurious budget may dine out around once each day and stay in more upscale hotels. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.